What's good? It's Casper. Today's video, I'm gonna be talking about the movie Stranger Than Fiction. Stranger Than Fiction is a 2006 film. It's rated PG-13 and it's an hour and 53 minutes. Directed by Marc Forster. Before I get into the performances, shout out to Thizzle Reviews for this recommendation. Crazy to know that Will Ferrell is in a very serious drama type of movie. Kind of like a depressing one as well. Caught me off guard hearing about it. Something that I couldn't really imagine seeing Will Ferrell really put out these drama lines. I mean, it was one of those things that I was thinking of. Are we gonna watch Will Ferrell do these serious lines and, you know, it's gonna make you laugh? But on the comedy side of this movie, it's literally just a sprinkle of comedy. And that's only because how Will Ferrell, his whole aura, his character is. Like, he looks funny, but in a good way. A very cool dude. In a lot of the movies, you know, he's trying to be very cool. He is a cool dude. Just funny naturally. A lot of the lines that are very goofy come out natural. They can be serious, but still make you laugh. So how I was gonna receive this movie and seeing his acting was, I was just really hoping that it wasn't something that was forced or something that, let's put him in a weird, awkward situation. So I think this recommendation was honestly a very interesting one on basically trying to observe actors do their thing from one genre, like comedy, and go into another situation like a drama. Will Ferrell plays the character Harold Crick, and he's the IRS auditor in this movie. Very interesting characteristics with Will Ferrell's character, Harold, because he is an IRS auditor. You'll expect him to be very mean. Will Ferrell was one of those people that just knew he had to go into the building and do his job, but he does deal with a lot of like life scenarios in this movie that made this movie more like you could feel what this person is going through, which was very good. A lot of relatable moments and a lot of scenarios with the person like this is going through. First, he meets a girl in here who is very interesting, to be honest, and we'll get to her later. So Will Ferrell ends up kind of falling in love and putting himself in a scenario that he didn't even think he was going to be a part of. But the character development and build up for Will Ferrell's character at times was pretty shocking. I really do like him going back to that girl's bakery to show a side of him actually being human and showing that he's dealing with a lot of stuff that's not making him human. He has a funny look, but they worked with him. His uniform for when he's at work worked for him. That look was perfect. And then when he was chilling with the baker girl, the look during those times were just as relatable and believable as well. The people who were making this Harold Crick character, they actually had some really good let me help you out moments that didn't make Will Ferrell look awkward at all. The love side of this movie with Will Ferrell, I did enjoy because you could see as well, there's people who go through that. They let their job take over, but on the sweet side, you can see that he was slowly falling in love with this girl. He just kept going back and forth with his, you know, his conscience. A lot of times in this movie where you could see that the love side of it was kind of like the goofy side, literally a sprinkle of comedy. He's a character in this movie dealing with a lot of depressing everyday actions. This dude is literally in a lot of scenarios, especially having to work at that IRS job. I can imagine how depressing that was, but he did put out that vibe, just a loner to himself, never really have good relationships. He knows how to go to work, clock in, basically the same routine every single day. A lot of the editing in here was really interesting and flowed really well with the movie. The movie starts off with narrating already, so you think that's part of the movie. I like how naturally that sound fit the movie a lot. The environment was great. The camera focus, direction was on point. Cinematography actually worked in a lot of moments where it just made this movie very interesting from a lot of different angles. But the narrating wasn't a bother at all. And to find out that Will Ferrell hears this voice was interesting. This is like a movie for writers. I see a lot of writers having writer's block or a foggy brain and basically like not knowing how to execute their next lines. This was like a good movie to basically show writers like, hey, other writers go through it as well. If you're a writer and seeing another writer go through it, a lot of relatable moments and a lot of, I would say, funny moments too, with that little sprinkle on just seeing like this author is going through stuff a lot. The acting with Will Ferrell with the narrating, it was on point. It was interesting because Will's projection and the facial mannerisms and a lot of stuff he does, you can see he's interacting with that voice and he's like in his head a lot, and it just makes you just staring in awe and knowing that Will Ferrell is the only person hearing this. Will Ferrell's acting in this movie is something to watch out for at a lot of moments in here. Yeah, you do expect it to be funny at times and it could be boring for some people, but if you're a huge fan of Will Ferrell, Ferrell, this is a movie you'll actually appreciate, that he could step out of a box and do a movie like this. I do like a shot in this movie that I thought was phenomenal with Will Ferrell's character, was when he's on the bus and he's reading what's gonna happen in his life. That shot, that scene, that was like something that caught my eye. Crazy, enjoyed that scenario a lot. But Will Ferrell goes through a lot of scenarios in this movie that I feel like it's just gonna keep you just staring at him in sense of like, how is this person dealing with this? Interesting character throughout this whole movie, especially acting with so many good actors in this movie. Very creative as well, knowing that he's dealing with a crazy job and then also dealing with this voice in his head. The author Emma Thompson plays the character Karen Eiffel. So straight up with her acting did give vibes like she was an author who was very depressed at times in her head, and maybe a little bit too much in her head. Her scenarios were very concrete. I'm pretty sure someone involved with this understood how to put this character vibe. Acting wise, presented it very good. A lot of the scenarios in this movie, like I said, is perfect for real writers to see how this author is dealing with this book right here. Very depressing book in general, but do like the scenarios, how the creativity of writers do show up in this movie and with her, and do like how she didn't know that this person was real. That was like an anticipation in the movie where you really felt. Also with the narrating with her voice, very good. I do like the tone, do like the accent, do feel like it added to the movie and gave a little freshness, kind of give like a little UK vibe. Whole persona in general was super believable, and her acting with Queen Latifah, when you see it, I thought it was great. Connection between both of them was really good. Queen Latifah did her thing in here. Dustin Hoffman was the character Professor Jules Hilbert. I do like his performance in this movie because of how normal it looked for him. Like, he looks like he just came on set and just didn't have lines. Directors like, just be you, respond to Will Ferrell, and make this character shine. This performance in this movie felt like that's how he is as a person every day. The acting between Will Ferrell and Dustin Hoffman was something that was really cool to see on screen. Maggie Gyllenhaal, she plays the character Anna Pascal. First, I didn't know that she was brothers with Jake Gyllenhaal. Straight up, didn't know that, but just found that out. She was in the Batman movies as well. She was in the movie The Dark Knight. Before watching this movie, I didn't know she was in this movie at all. I mean, didn't hear about this movie, so didn't really know who was in it besides hearing Will Ferrell had this serious movie. Seeing the performance of Maggie playing the character Anna, that was one of my favorite characters in this movie on just the sweet, heartfelt side of the movie. Something that when you watched an actor perform their lines, that you can feel a lot more. There's characters in this movie where you might relate a lot more to another character more than another. That's why I feel like this movie is a writer's movie, because the writers could relate to literally the narrator and the person trying to figure out this story. But with Anna, the owner of the bakery, she's just a character trying to make it happen, go through everyday life. School didn't work out for her, so she went to the baking business. She's one of those people that just either you do this or you do that and you just go for it. Her having that sweet side with Will Ferrell at times in this movie kind of hit, especially knowing that Will Ferrell is kind of serious and a depressing dude in this movie. Anna made him have a heart in this movie. So the lines were great, presentation was awesome. Really like her look because it just looks so natural as well. No makeup type of vibe. She had that adorable look. That bakery vibe was really on point. Really like the overall presence that she gave in this movie, and really like when they interacted with each other, because her character made Will Ferrell deal with a lot more, like especially on the love side, where he's just like, I could see this happening. So a lot of moments with her character where it's just like, man, Will Ferrell is tripping on her character a little bit. You see Anna as well. It's like she kind of did her own thing on owning this business. It's a back and forth thing, but one of those things that you do adore. A lot of that pressure, a lot of that feeling, a lot of that love that this movie has a side of, you do feel, and her character was a great presentation of that. And overall, good acting, good look, like I said. Queen Latifah is in this movie. Queen Latifah just, for me, just acted like an OG in here. Just came in here, shined like she usually does, and just came in here and do your job and dip. Music score in here at times, you know, did fit the vibe. Overall, this movie was interesting and a very cool recommendation. After my watching the movie Stranger Than Fiction out of 10, I'm gonna have to give this movie a 8 out of 10. That's my movie review for the movie Stranger Than Fiction. Shout out to you guys for tuning into the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.